What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Titans sector. If you are a Titans fan, this is the place to be. The takes are hot, the passion is real, and the opinions are sure to collide. As always, I'm Van, and I'm joined up here by Ghost today. And today we are going to be doing our Titan sector power rankings moving into the 2026 NFL season as we see it today. Surely these things will change, but what we're going to be doing today in the pod is going through about 2 or 3 items on each team and discussing why we have the teams ranked where they are, where we see their potential, and we're just going to break it down and have some fun. So we hope you guys will stay with us and let us know in the comments if you disagree with any of our rankings, because chances are you very well could. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check us out over at X on @TheTitansSector. We appreciate this community so much, and we hope you guys appreciate us as well. So, Ghost, there's the intro, man. Let's talk about our power rankings and start us off.
All right, man. So we're going to go ahead and start from the right, and we're basically going to go bottom to top. And then work our way to the left to the best teams. So we're going to start with here is the Browns. And the first topic we're going to go ahead and talk about is like Todd Monken.
Todd Monken.
Yeah. Like
Todd
they
Monken.
had like Jim Schwartz, like a proven coach, you know what I mean? Like obviously had the defense firing all cylinders, did it so poorly that they actually ran him out of town.
Yeah. Not only that, but I mean, they dumb Schwartz. They can't handle that thing. And then they trade Myles Garrett, which I understand.
That's my number 3. You already touched on that.
Yeah,
number 3,
well, and you can still talk about it. I understand that, the value that you get for Garrett. And I think it was a good trade, right? I do think it was a good trade and a good value for the Browns, especially with Verse coming back from Los Angeles. But holy cow, man, with Todd Monken, it's like your grandpa out there coaching. I mean, the Cleveland Browns are a struggling franchise, and they have been for quite some time. Does that hire give that fan base any type of zhuzh? Does that give them any type of passion?
Well, right. And that brings me to number 2 here. So like you said, you touched on number 3. So we have Todd Monken, who arguably is like came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, like he happened like after several coaches said like, no, thank you. You know what I mean?
Several.
So,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was like you got the tick counter out on their rejection.
Yeah. So that takes me into number 2, the return of Deshaun Watson. Like that's what we're doing at quarterback. So like you said, so we got Todd Monken, traded Myles Garrett. And then we have the ghost of Deshaun Watson coming to haunt the place. You know what I mean? And maybe he somehow finds the success he had in Houston. I just don't know that he will have what he had in Houston around him to kind of recreate any of that magic.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But I think the Browns are in a better spot with their roster. They really did a good job in the draft last year. And I do think that they're in a better spot than when Deshaun was their quarterback, healthy, before all that stuff went on that I'm not going to dive into. But it's going to be interesting for me to see the quarterback battle in camp. I would just lean to think that Monken would rather go with Deshaun Watson, being an older dude, an older generation, and kind of he might think, hey, it's proven. I know the fans love Shedeur. I'm still not sold on Shedeur at all. I think he's like, every game could throw 3 picks, and he's just crazy. But that is a very interesting thing. But with the Browns, I put them here because, man, you got to prove it. I mean, they're just historically in the bottom, and they're in a tough division. That AFC North is no joke.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to actually point this out because we didn't get to this earlier. So this power rankings is a collective thought process of me and Van. So this is not like either or. We kind of put our heads together and kind of came to this conclusion. So
yeah, thanks for touching on that.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to the Jets. And I'm going to start with Sleepy Aaron Glenn.
Oh, Sleepy at the combine.
Sleepy Aaron, he's probably sleeping right now. We don't know. But is he going to be able to win many games? I don't know. Let's start with getting an interception. How about that?
Not the first. They won't win the first game.
That's definitely going to be a loss. That's also my gut. So speaking about the Jets, so we're going to go ahead and go on to number 2. So Geno Smith is who we're moving forward with at quarterback. And then I think the biggest thing they did this offseason would be number 3, and it might be the only net positive that I can really think of overall, based on the coaching situation and everything. That's they signed Breece Hall.
Right.
So what do you think about the 3 for the Jets and where they're at?
I mean, I'm not convinced with the Jets at all. I'm not convinced with Aaron Glenn. And it's not just because of the record they had, but my God, that's a defensive player in the NFL that had a very good career. I mean, I watched Aaron Glenn. He was a great cornerback, and their defense last year didn't have an interception, and that's got a cause for some concern as to what that coaching staff is doing. And I know, obviously, hey, they got a couple of Titans. They got Brownlee and Sweat, obviously, over there from us, but I just don't see it, man. And Geno Smith, man, I'm not a Geno Smith fan. Is really the biggest way I can say it.
Journeyman.
Journeyman. Guy. I'll tell you, I was shocked when they brought him back to the Jets, right? Back to New York.
Run it back.
I was like, it went so well the first time. What could go wrong?
Right?
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
The Jets to me are where, and again, like you said, this was a collective, and they're down there, man. They are down on the path. They're at the very bottom. I think they're going to struggle this year, and I don't see them doing much at all.
No, I agree. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our still loading tier. What does that mean? That means they're still building. There's some moving parts. I'm not super sold on some of the stuff that they have done, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the Cardinals. In the start, they have new coach down there, Mike LaFleur.
Yeah.
I guess my opinion on that is it's kind of the in vogue thing right now in the NFL. Just go pick somebody off the Rams coaching staff and hope there's Sean McVay. That's kind of the goal here. I don't think there's any secrets about that.
Yeah, it's like the old Shanahan coaching tree, and now it's the McVay coaching tree, and then obviously LaFleur's brother coaches the Packers. I think, he has more potential, at least from my perspective, than their previous coach. And I think it should be a good hire. Let me put it that way. I think it's a good hire in the right direction for that organization coming from where they were. A positive for me was drafting Jeremiah Love, although I was shocked by it. And I don't necessarily see why they did it with the additions they brought in, like Tyler Algier, to that running back room. So with a roster like the Cardinals, they got a lot more holes. So that was surprising to me. But you can't deny the talent of Jeremiah Love, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that is in the right direction. Yeah. So what do you think about the Cardinals, another step?
Well, the next entry here is they lost little Kyler. Little Kyler's gone.
Every time I saw a video of Kyler Murray, like a highlight reel, I always hear that little tiny footstep. That sound.
It doesn't make sense how
he's running around.
He's fast. He's clearly fast. Yeah. But man, when it is on TV and he's around all those people that are like 3 feet taller than he is, and like you said, his little feet, it looks like he is doing like his legs are doing 80 miles an hour, but he's doing 20.
Yes.
It just doesn't make sense. Obviously, he's making a miss and stuff like that. I think I like Kyler. I think he's talented. Yeah. He's made some like sick throws and everything like that. I do not know that I would ever like want him on my team as a quarterback.
Right.
But and then the third one, I think Jeremiah Love is going to help that team. I think he's going to be. He ended up being like my draft crush this past offseason.
Yeah, same.
Wanted him. My first draft crush in the November prior though was Cardinal Tate. So you know what, no Bucks. You know what? And I'm going to slip it in. We got a Buckeye receiver. All right,
there it is. We got it.
I gotta get it in. It's like Derek's cup in the last pod. Slip it in there.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the Raiders.
All right.
I don't think they did bad. I just don't think they're going to be after like what they were under Carroll. But they got Clint Kubiak. I think that's an exciting hire as coach. That's number one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for me, the Raiders are one of those teams that I feel good about where we placed them, but they could very easily move up.
Yes.
In these rankings as the start of the season. I'd say the first 4 games of the season shakes out. You might see more what this team looks like. And obviously, Fernando Mendoza getting drafted number 1 overall, to me, it's a bit of an enigma with Mendoza. I'm not convinced on him at the pro level, but I'm not unconvinced either. I got to see it from him. And they brought in the veteran Kirk Cousins, who continues to get paid sick money everywhere he goes. You know, the man.
That guy can negotiate. I don't know who he's got doing his contracts, but he has pulled the wool over everybody's eyes. Like he just keeps getting guaranteed contract after guaranteed contract after guaranteed contract.
I think his agent is actually Oprah, just saying everybody gets Kirk gets a contract. Kirk gets a guarantee.
Right.
But for Kubiak, like you said, man, look what he did in Seattle. The guy knows he knows offense, and his dad, Gary played in the league, coached in the league, and had success in coaching. So, man, they're a sneaky team. They got a lot of pieces, right? They got a lot of pieces on offense. They got some good pieces in defense. They couldn't get rid of Crosby. And
that was my number 2. Traded Max Crosby, then they didn't. So he's back. I don't think that is obviously the situation was weird. It was a very Raiders thing to happen.
I mean, it's like breaking up with your girlfriend and then calling her the next week and being like, we were good. We were good together.
Right. But you can't really be mad about it because I think Max, well, if he's healthy, I think you're better with him than you are without him. I mean, obviously they would have liked to have the picks. They're in the midst of a rebuild. I thought I heard some murmurings of the 49ers possibly reaching out. I don't know if that's a real thing, but maybe they get that deal done again with a different team. But
that'll be interesting to Ravens. See. No, so they're sneaky. So I can kick us off with Atlanta, man, because an interesting thing for me was bringing Tua into the fold, and it makes sense,
Penix, right?
Yeah,
with Penix, so you got a quarterback battle right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate, a couple of southpaws, both lefties. And I think it makes sense to me because obviously you bring Tua in cheap. And Penix has proven to be unreliable with his health. I would think a healthy Penix would win that job. I'd be shocked if they turn the keys over to Tua. That would be very shocking to
lefty
me.
Tua.
Coming off
have you ever seen his throwing hand?
Yeah.
Just kidding. That was a low blow. That was a low blow.
Otherwise, you're like,
has it been long enough?
That's like that guy from that horror movie that has those weird hands,
Yeah, the strong hand guy.
Yeah, strong hand.
He fixes his hair with it and stuff.
Yeah.
Stirs the potatoes.
The Falcons did a couple of good things in the draft as well.
Yeah, they signed London. So London's back.
Greg's back.
Here for the long haul. I don't know about the money for him, but we'll see. We'll see how that turns out for him.
Right. And Bijan.
Yeah. Right. I mean, he's top 5 in the league, in my opinion, as long as they utilize him right. That's been a bit of a roller coaster, but
I think with Atlanta, the thing for me is they just haven't put the pieces together. Like they have a lot of nice pieces and they play in a tough division that's kind of a little almost like the AFC North, right? You got some guys in Bucks and Saints and Panthers in them, and they all battle hard. But it just seems like they can't put the pieces together and win the games they need to win, especially in that division. So still loading.
Right, still loading. So on to the Saints. So one of the big things, I think, number 1, signed Travis Etienne Jr. Travis Etienne Jr. Sorry. I think he's an electric kind of player. I think he's going to help Tyler Shook, which that is my number 2. Is Tyler Shook the real deal? What's your opinion on Tyler Shook?
I think he did really impressive things in his first season.
Surprised me, honestly. Like when they drafted him, I was a little like, okay, why?
Yeah.
But there were some evaluators out there that loved Tyler Shook.
Oh yeah, there were people up there very high on him coming out of college, and he's an older dude coming out of college, so he's got a little bit more of that age factor with him. But I went to the Titans Saints game and I saw him in person. The dude is, he's an impressive physical stature, and he really, now granted they were playing the Titans junior varsity team defensive secondary, so it was like probably like Swiss cheese for him, but he lit us up.
Yeah.
And he did well. Is he the real deal? I think it depends, right? He has to show it much like Cam. They got to come out in their second season and show it.
Mhm.
And one thing I liked that they did was picking up Jordan Tyson in the draft, because to me
Yep.
it showed a commitment to the offensive side and a commitment to some explosion potentially with obviously their coach, Kellen Moore. So, they have some sneaky potential in that division.
Yeah. He kind of puts me in the mind of a Kirk Cousins a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, or Ryan Tannehill. I kind of like that range. It like just does everything right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to like blow your doors off with mistakes. He's accurate and he understands the offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So number 3.
Yeah, I think the Ryan Tannehill comp is good.
Yeah, absolutely. So number 3, do you think Alvin Kamara will be a factor after getting Travis Etienne?
Well, I mean, it depends on if they still hold on to him, right? Because there's a chance they could still, move him. But if they keep him, I think he will be a factor, and for such a long time, Kamara's been their workhorse back. He's been an all 3 down type guy because of his ability out of the backfield to make plays by catching passes. And you have a very similar looking dude in Travis back there now.
Yeah. Younger, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which kind of worries me for them. I mean, you hang on to. I felt like we prematurely got rid of Derek because I think he's a unicorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I thought we could have kept him and he could have helped our team. Alvin Kamara, still a good player, but he is, like you said, you got Travis Etienne, very similar, younger. In this running back landscape, is Alvin Kamara going to have a lot of value in trade? You know what I mean? It might just kind of be a little bit of a lost cause for them, and they just need to kind of offload him because they're getting younger anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Next. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
No, it's the Giants. Nothing.
Hey.
I have nothing for you. Nothing to add. No, I'm just kidding. So we'll move on to number 2.
Yeah, exactly.
So somebody for sure is getting CTE, right?
Yeah.
Somebody, whether it be Dart or Scatabo, is going to get CTE before it's all said and done. But I do have a real one here for number 3. Will Malik Neighbors be healthy?
Man, he sure doesn't look like it on all these clips right now. I saw him on that celebrity charity thing that they did where they were playing like dodgeball or something, and he was moving around that leg like a grandfather. And I don't put much weight into those types of clips, but it seems to me like he's struggling. And man, how many knee injuries are they going to have in New York on that field before somebody does something about it? I mean, that's crazy to me.
Well, they're down Wandale. They got a possibly injured Neighbors. Don't get me wrong. I tease because the Giants fan base has been almost insufferable this offseason. But I think Dart's good. I think he needs to take care of his body a little bit more. I do think he's probably going to end up hurt more often than not if he keeps playing the way he does. And Scatabo, I mean, he's a good running back too. But again, is he going to be 100%? That was a pretty gnarly injury.
Yeah, it was wicked. It was terrible looking.
Yeah. So,
well, I'm not convinced on Cam, to be honest with you, as a lead back. And I think Jackson Dart reminds me a little bit of like a Baker Mayfield, so I think he has potential. And obviously Harbaugh coming in there. But again, for me, they're still building it, man. They're still building it. They're still the Giants.
Remember the old Mighty Ducks movie? I think it was Mighty Ducks 2. Then there was those 2 guys on the Mighty Ducks team, like Bash Bros or something like that. I can't remember what their name was, but that's what Cam Scatabo and Jackson Dart remind me of. They're always like bashing their heads together, like with no helmet and stuff like that. It's like,
Cam's insane. I remember before the draft, just a little last point here, that they were interviewing his mother, and his mother said that as a little child, he'd be outside banging his head against a telephone pole in the yard. And I'm like, well, that explains it all.
Man, they're really closing the gaps for me here. So, all right, man, we'll move on. So now we're going to move on to the spoilers tier. I think everybody knows kind of what spoilers mean, that these teams, they could be good enough to kind of like spoil somebody's offseason, or not offseason, but postseason. Are they going to be like real game changers or like highly respected competitors? we don't know, but we'll go ahead and start with the Dolphins here. So they are starting to look like the Green Bay of Miami is what it's kind of looking like to me. They brought in that coach. They brought in the guy, can't remember his name, but their new GM also Green Bay. Malik Willis also from Green Bay. So I don't know that translate. I think familiarity is good. Don't get me wrong.
Sure. We've done it as well.
Yeah. The Titans did it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So do I think that translates to wins this year? I don't necessarily think so, but I am excited for them. And they're like new coaching staff and things like that. I think Malik Willis, I think he's developed nicely, and it would be fun to watch this year.
There are some true Malik Willis truthers out there, man. Like if you go through X and social media, I am like shocked by some of the people that believe in this guy. And look, I like Malik. I think he was not good with Tennessee, and you can't really deny that. You could argue the opportunity was given, but we're past that. In Green Bay, he was sitting behind Jordan Love. He was learning a much different offense. He had a very good coach, LaFleur, a very good organization, right? So he was set up to do exactly what he did, which is take advantage of this and get a big contract somewhere else to have his big chance. And this is his big chance. But, man, going to Miami behind that Swiss offensive line they have there, which is not good, losing Jalen Waddle. I know they got HN in the backfield. But for me, Malik's going to have to prove it, man. He's going to have to prove it, It's not like it's his rookie, second year. He did some good things. He had some flashy stuff on primetime games last year. I think it's going to be different. Trying to string that together in Miami.
Yeah.
It can be different.
I think you're right. That takes me right into number 2. Malik's got to continue to improve. I don't think he's there yet. I think they're going to be glad he has the mobility he has down there because their O-line is a little porous. And you said it. Bye-bye Jalen Waddle. You know what I mean? Like, what a great gift for him to show up, and then Jalen Waddle goes
just
out
be
the
like,
door.
See ya. And, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there and people watching this that could say it right off the cuff, but who's even in their wide receiver room at this point? I mean, who's in there? And so that to me is concerning, having a new quarterback that you pay all that money to. But they've got a rebuilding plan just like the Titans do, just like everybody.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and move on. Panthers. So Jalen Phillips with an improved pass rush.
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, it's a big signing. I kind of wanted him this offseason. We ended up trading for Tavondre Sweat for Jamie Johnson. Jermaine Johnson. That's it. We picked him up. So, which I think he's going to be good in Salah's defense, but we'll see 100%. How that works. On to number 2, Tet McMillan is a beast. In my opinion, I think he's a monster. I think he was a monster as soon as he hit the field, which kind of also brings me into number 3. Is Chris Brazell a diamond in the rough?
Yeah, well, I know they sure hope he is, right? And then you hope that the pairing of Tet and Chris brings some explosive, to that Carolina offense. And obviously Bryce Young has come out of the dark ages in his NFL career, it seems, where he was benched for the Red Rocket, and Andy coming in. But I think that's what it was, right? But
I think he's coming around, though. He looked pretty good last year with some weapons.
Yeah, he's coming around, but they lost Rico Dowdle, which is, Rico had an explosive year. Was that a flash in the pan? Who knows? And they're in that same division that I referenced before. I think putting them in the spoiler category to me was the right category to put them in because they're one of those teams that they're talented enough, they're good enough. They had a good season last year, relatively new coaching staff. They could surprise some people.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited. Definitely could play spoiler, but I mean, like you said, this thing's going to change probably by week 3, and they could move up relatively quickly.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go ahead and move on to Washington. And can Jaden Daniels stay healthy? Who knows? He's got some weird looking arms, bro. They looked injured coming into the league.
Yes, they did.
Like some weird looking arms. And then he did that thing on the field where his arm kind of like
looked the elbow. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so nasty.
Those kind of injuries, dude.
Yeah, it was rough.
Not
and obviously, if he stays healthy, they're dangerous. You
Yeah.
know,
No, absolutely. Yeah, he's a machine for sure.
they've proven that they're dangerous. I'm not a huge Dan. Is it Dan Quinn? Isn't it their head coach?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not a huge Dan Quinn truther. You know, I mean, he's a good coach. Is he the coach that can take that team to the next level? Is really my question. And again, they're in the East. You know, they're in the East. They've got the Eagles and the Cowboys that are consistently doing better. I would say better things, but
yeah,
they have some explosive potential.
Absolutely. Which brings me to number 2, improved defense. So they pick up Odafe Owe and Sonny Styles.
Yeah,
which I think is going to be huge for them, honestly. You worry that they lost their offensive coordinator for Jaden Daniels in that offense, but with Dan Quinn, they're getting better on his side of the ball.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, Sonny Styles was a really good pick there for them, and I think but honestly, you know, if they can improve their defensive side of the ball and then on top of it keep a healthy Jaden, they can make some noise, especially with the potential of the Eagles this year potentially going the opposite way.
Absolutely. Brings me to number 3. So miss you, Chigo Okonkwo, but not you, Traylon Burks. So
that's a good one.
Yeah. So Chig, I know I like Chig a lot, man. That dude. I mean, he kind of peaked. You know what I mean? He was kind of like that, like reception guy. I mean, he obviously wasn't going to be a Delaney Walker or anything like that. So I understand why we let him go. I think he's going to be a weapon for them. And Jaden Daniels, Traylon Burks still doesn't know how to catch. I saw a video the other day.
Yeah,
he's like falling down, and like he gets up and like he does the little like crossover thing. But like I was like, dude, it looked like you were about to get injured again. Like,
oh yeah, falling real hard on his knee. Yeah. You know, I think Chig, I agree with you, man. I really like Chig. You know, I liked him a lot in his time with the Titans, and I think he has a potential to do some great stuff there in Washington.
Athlete, man.
He is.
Like,
He's
with
an
the ball
athlete.
in his hand. He's dangerous from all over the field. So
yeah, and I enjoy the fact that on social media there's so many Commander fans that are so excited about Burks because you're going to feel the same way we did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. He
like, go ahead, get excited.
Losing Chig though, I'm like really hoping that means more helm for us. I'm hoping that like increases helms. Like
absolutely,
man. I see so much in that kid, and I'm so excited for him. It's just like it seems like the coaching staffs just have not cracked that code for some reason, or at least haven't realized that there's a code to crack there and like use him more. Because man, he catches everything thrown to him. So
yeah, I'm excited. I'm stoked for him.
So the Colts.
Should we just skip these guys?
Thought about it, and you know what? I didn't even do 3. I said your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah,
because they could come out and be playoff locks. They could fall off by like week whatever it was last year, 8.
Yeah.
I mean, their quarterback is up and down at best. They weren't able to really like seriously build because they gave up a ton of picks for an injured Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
And eventually injured Sauce Gardner. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is a really good running back. I mean, we've got them in spoilers. They could just as easily be gatekeepers, and they could just as easily be still loading because who knows what you have with Daniel Jones, you know?
They could. I mean, I thought the Colts were going to move on from Steichen, you know, after that collapse last season, but they gave him another year to prove himself, prove his worth.
Commitment to their GM is
absolutely
that's loyalty. If you look at loyalty,
yeah, Chris Ballard, man, I think he should have been gone a decade ago. You know, so I don't understand.
That guy looks like he is high all the time.
He does. Well, you know, the joke was like, what does he have on the Irsay family? You know, that he's still there. It's like you kind of wonder what dirt he's got. But with the Colts, here's the thing I think that's against them the most, aside from just like we talked about, you said already, is they're in this AFC South division where now the Titans are actually getting better and increasing and making the right. Well, obviously they have to prove they're getting better on the field.
Yeah. On paper, they're
on paper they're getting better. And it's not an easy win. You know, it's not like you're going to chalk over 2 wins on us. We know where the Jaguars are and what they've done, and the Texans. So I think it's going to be a tough season for them. And they lost Michael Pittman, which to me is a big blow.
Yeah.
Even with Alec Pierce and Josh, I think it's Josh Downs coming back. I think he was injured. So
Alec Pierce is a bit of a one-trick pony for the money they gave him, I think. I mean,
yeah,
he's a great deep threat, and I think that's important. But I just, like you said, losing Pittman, I think will sting a little bit too much for that to make too much sense. You know what I mean? So we'll see what the Colts are. We put them right now in spoilers, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the Jags. And number 1 for the Jags. What a terrible draft.
That was horrible, man.
Dude, it was like they didn't even do any research. It's like they were also sleeping maybe in the same suite as Aaron Glenn from the Jets. It's like every time they picked, it was like, is he even on the consensus big board?
The thing that amazed me the most was post-draft when Gladstone came out and he's like, we got all our guys, man. We killed this draft. You know, and I wish that in honor of him in this section, we would just have a bunch of word salad to put out and make things sound pretty like he does. But man, they had a terrible draft, and I don't believe. I mean, look, I think Liam Cohen is a good coach. To see what he did with that team last year, it was impressive to me. So I think he actually is a good coach. I think he has the team. And that's important for a head coach. But you know, they lose ETN. I'm not a believer in Trevor Lawrence. I mean, look what he did against Buffalo. You know, he throws the game away. And yeah, I don't think they should be anywhere higher than this to me. I just don't. Not
with as many other teams who got pretty seriously better, in my opinion. You know
I
what
agree.
I mean? I don't think they lost a spot. I think future-wise, their draft hurt them. I think it's going to be a lot more of the same as last year. And I think they're going to be held down by a lot of things you mentioned. You know what I mean? Losing Etienne, Trevor Lawrence being Trevor Lawrence, et cetera. I don't see them elevating this year based on what we saw in the offseason.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah. Number 2. Here we go. So what is Travis Hunter other than injured? Is he a cornerback or a wide receiver?
He's a 3-way player you just described.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't really help them if he's injured. And you guys get all kinds of stories. Like he's puffing his chest out. He's like, oh, I'm a wide receiver and a cornerback. I think he excels more at the cornerback position. I think that's where they should heavily lean and then put him packages out there for him. But I just think you're going to keep injuring him if you keep trying to play him on both sides of the ball as much as they try. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my take on him. I think he's an awesome player, but I don't think he's doing himself any service by trying to flex his muscles on this 2-position player thing. He's not Dion. You know what I mean?
No, to me, they need to, and you know, they kind of hinted that they were sticking. Most people, I think, from what I've seen, and I'm not deep in the Jaguars, right? But what I've seen is they were like hinting, yeah, we're going to stick to him on defense. But videos coming out from OTAs are like he's taking wide receiver drills. You know, who knows what kind of percentage they're going to play him at? Who knows? But I agree, man. I think he could stick to one side. It would do the team better and do him better.
Yeah, and I didn't even do a number 3. I think number 3 we could just leave it at Jags will jag, right?
Yeah, 100%.
The Jags will jag. So we'll go ahead and move on here. To the Bengals. So this is the Gatekeepers. So this is our tier where these guys could be in the hunt. These guys could be contenders. I think all of them on paper have some like pretty serious improvements that they've done. And I think the question is for them is it all going to gel? Because maybe there's so much changes. Is it going to be so much changes that they actually kind of like take a step back before they kind of launch forward? So we're going to call them Gatekeepers. We think they're probably going to be in the mix, and we'll kind of go ahead and start with the Bengals. First thing, I'm sure Joe Burrow is ecstatic. They improved on defense.
Correct.
Finally. Traded for Dexter Lawrence, right? They finally did some. They did lose Hendrickson.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson,
Yeah, so that is a bit of a bummer for them.
Yeah, but on the flip side, and you just mentioned Lawrence, you know, Jonathan Allen came over as a defensive tackle, and they added Boye Mafe as well. So they clearly put in some capital to a very weak spot, which they needed to do.
Absolutely. And number two, I think we can't do the Bengals or talk about the Bengals and not mention that sick wide receiver room they have with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Sometimes it seems like Jamar Chase is unstoppable,
yes.
like a literal cheat code.
Absolutely.
And your number two is T. Higgins, who on those deep, like contested catches is an absolute monster.
Yeah.
I think that is exciting when Joe Burrow is your quarterback. So,
well, when Joe Burrow is healthy, the Bengals,
Exactly.
the Bengals go with Joe. I mean, that's what happens, right? And you see, just like we saw last year, he gets hurt, we know what happens, even though they're explosive on offense and they have so much potential. So he has to stay healthy.
Right.
If you look at his injury history, it's really crazy. The guy's gotten injured a lot, and he is one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL with an elite wide receiver room. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a perfect spot for them to be, because if he stays healthy, they could climb up this chart pretty easily.
Absolutely. And that was number three, is Joe Burrow stay healthy? He's like top 3, top 5 quarterback in the league, easy.
Yeah.
However, availability is the best ability, and he has not been able to do that, and they've suffered for it here in recent years. So so that means we'll move on to the Texans. So they're not big fans of O-line.
Not at all.
Yeah, they're like, hey, our O-line is pretty good. Ship them out. Get out of here. So I don't think that helps CJ Stroud or anybody on that team. I think they've got a lot of pieces, but for some reason they're blowing that O-line up, and I think that is not going to help them.
It's interesting to me. They brought in David Montgomery, which I don't know if you have that on there, but they brought in David from the Lions, which I think is a good addition. But, man, that Texans running back room for like the last 6 or 7 years has just been like one of those rotating doors at a fancy building.
Yeah.
And there are guys that come and they're like, oh, they got Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's good. And then, so I feel like it kind of always underwhelms, watching the Texans running back room, even when they bring in those additions. And then for me, one of my points was a healthy Tank Dell, which Tank is not built like a tank. The guy gets injured quite often. Little guy. But if he can stay healthy, that's a big deal for them, because Nico on the other side is a beast. He really is.
Yeah. And he was a little surprising, I think, Nico Collins. And he's been consistent, like kind of cool as a cucumber in there. So that's exciting for them as far as the receivers go. And for me, old Buckeye CJ Stroud. Which one do you get, man? So as a Buckeye fan, just take you guys all back. I watch every single Buckeye game. Man, he was great at dropping the ball when it mattered. Like he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but if you get into a bowl game, if you get it playing against Michigan, or if you have a play-in game, he was just not going to be it in that game. He wasn't going to be on. He was probably going to cry afterwards, and it would drive me crazy as a Buckeye. So I get that. That's number 2, man. Like which CJ Stroud do you get with the Texans?
Well, if you're a Texans fan, you hope that him cutting his hair is not like Samson, where
he's going to need a smaller helmet. That's all I can tell you.
That's a biblical reference for any of you out there watching. But yeah, you hope that the haircut doesn't just take all the powers away, or maybe alternatively, they bring some of the powers back that everybody was so excited in his rookie season that they saw. Man, like I watched CJ a lot in Ohio State in college, maybe not as much as you, but I did watch him a lot. And I'm just not a fan. I'm just not, man. I'm not a fan of the guy. I'm not a fan of the player. Is he talented? Yes, but I think you hit the nail on the head, man. I think when the moment gets big, he decreases, and that's a problem as a quarterback, especially a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, he buckles for sure. And like I said, that goes into the college years. Like I watched him a lot. And again, I don't dislike him as a person. He seems to be an all right guy. It kind of sucks that he's a Houston Texan. I hate the Texans by default. But one thing that I think is keeping them in this tier, and maybe even better, is that defense. I mean, they could very easily have the best defense in the league.
In the entire league.
Yeah. They're very, very good. Them and Broncos probably are right there. So that's what we have the Texans there, man.
I agree. Yeah, I'm good. You said it all. We can move on to the Ravens.
So on to the Ravens. So I'm going to combine the first two for the sake of time. And I think this is a factor that always is going to give them a chance. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I think they're always going to be in the thick of it with those guys. Two true unicorns at their position.
Yeah.
But we'll swing right into number 3 and get your opinion on that. So no John Harbaugh. Young, inexperienced guy coming over from the Chargers. Can't remember his name.
Jesse Minter.
Mentor, yes. So, what do you think about that? How do you think that is going to impact this team?
I think it was time for a move for the franchise away from Harbaugh. He'd been there for so long. It's a lot like Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Great coaches, great history, legacy, time to move on. Minter's going to have to prove it. He seems to be a well-liked coach from his players and also well-spoken about coach, even though he's a younger coach. I think he has a lot of potential, and he's moving into a spot, what could you want more as a first-time coach? I mean, that's going into a great situation. You've got pieces, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. They moved on from Isaiah Likely, who went to the Giants, which probably was a good idea. But the Ravens are right up there with me on that team. Just they can't figure it out. They can't get past that line, and that's the same thing as Lamar. Lamar is an MVP quarterback and a great talent, can't get past that point.
When things aren't clicking around him, he tries to do too much. And I think you see that when he tries to do too much, the kind of like superpower that he has kind of like withers away a little bit, and you can kind of see it in real time. Shout out Mark Andrews, by the way, fellow type 1 diabetic.
Oh yeah, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jay Cutler, random call out, Jay Cutler.
Straight from Vanderbilt, Jay Cutler.
Right. All right, man. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the Vikings. I think we just need to start with just solid coaching, really good coaching. I think it's always going to keep them like at the middle or above. Kevin O'Connell's a really, really good coach. I was actually kind of hoping they would kind of let him go, kind of do like a McDermott. Like if he was like available, I was like, I could deal with that as a coach, but they kept him, understandably so. So, other than that, really good coaching. So Kyler Murray verse 9.
The personality, the persona.
Yeah. Of 9. So I don't think 9 is in the race at all, comparatively. You know what I mean? I think you saw it in the side-by-side interviews.
My gosh,
he's immature.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's such a bad look on a good old 9 McCarthy or whatever the heck his name is.
I think, honestly, the Vikings probably know, right? Especially after seeing Sam Darnold go win a Super Bowl in Seattle, that they moved a little too quickly with their belief in McCarthy.
Yep.
And McCarthy's performance last year was atrocious. I mean, you watch his tape and you start to actually watch people that break down the quarterback and the fluidity and the body and everything from ground up, what they do. That was terrible. And you look at Justin Jefferson, who is absolutely elite. And he was so frustrated last year. He was so frustrated last year, I don't think there's a chance that if both healthy, that McCarthy wins the job. I think it's Murray's job. And also, I think that's good if you're a Vikings fan. I think Murray has the potential in that offensive scheme and with those weapons to do a lot more.
Yeah. And I think that kind of takes me into the last one is Justin Jefferson. I don't think Kyler's had that. You know what I mean? I don't think a lot of quarterbacks have had that kind of wide receiver at their disposal. You know what I mean? He's like upper echelon for sure.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how Kyler Murray, under a coaching staff as legit as O'Connell's, and with Justin Jefferson, what that looks like, because he's going to be open. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Time will tell on the Vikings, but that's why we have them in the Gatekeepers, because it could go either way.
Very well. Well, if it goes McCarthy, it's going to go that way, or whichever way it might flip. It's going to go red.
If you guys heard that through the mic, I'm sorry. I just smacked my desk because it is time. It is time for the Titans. Why do we have them right here, kind of in the middle? Number one, changes in the air, man. I don't know I've ever seen a team with so much just momentum of positivity, like positive momentum, just like mentality. The players are excited. The look, like the Oiler not throwbacks, but like they've kind of mended that like history. Like everything's kind of like mended together. You got the new stadium. We got a new coaching staff with experience and Dabble and Sala. Changes in the air, man.
Yeah.
Could that be a detriment? Absolutely.
Sure.
Could that be a huge like win for us to like catapult us into the upper echelon of the NFL? Absolutely. So what's your kind of view of that, just all the changes and things that are going on with the Titans?
I love it because what it shows me when you're in these moments as a Titans fan and you see them and you appreciate them, they stack, right? We've had a lot of stacks, a lot of stacked wins, like you said, positive wins this offseason, everything you mentioned, including going into a new stadium, including getting the Super Bowl. Those are just atmospheric things that don't affect what happens on the field. But when I step away from this and I look, what I love the most is what I see from the team is a conviction to culture, a conviction to a goal. And it truly seems like everyone is bought in differently than what we have heard is bought in the past. And that's a huge deal. It's a huge deal, right? And so it comes down to the coaches and the players, but if they can put it together on the field, absolutely, I think it should propel us in the proper direction, not where we've been the last couple of years.
Absolutely. So we'll move on. I kind of touched on it there, so we don't need to really talk about it too much, but just experience. I think we went from a coaching staff that had not much, if any, experience in a lot of like ways, not only in the staff, but at the top. You know what I mean? It was just like devoid of any kind of experience. Like they probably should have brought in a consultant or something, but I think that only hurt us at that point. So it is so nice to see a Dabble and a Sala come in, somebody who's coached, somebody who understands the ins and outs in that. And they're not trying to figure that out while coaching a team to try to get them to win. You know what I mean? You know what? Whatever. Say what you will about seed oils or whatever, but he has a plan, right?
It's a plan. That's part of what I was talking about with conviction. It's talking points and it's things people can talk about. But to your point about coaching, in OTAs, I got bumps watching a defensive line coach drills in OTAs.
He's like, I'm going to make you jump. I'm going to make you jump. Dude, that was fun to watch. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that guy, if I was on that roster, I'd run through a wall for that dude. So
absolutely.
It's different.
And then last is just a huge influx of talent. I think talent was something we were missing last year. I think I think there was a lot of heart, all that stuff. I don't think we were devoid of that. I think the culture was in process. But when you look at the Carnell Tates, Helm, Chimere DK, All-Pro, Ayo Manor, Cam, year 2 Cam, Big Jeff, and that JFM, all these Flott and Taylor, all at every level, we did something to a degree. You know what I mean? And I still worry about depth a little bit. I think injuries will kind of derail anything if we struggle with that this year. You kind of hope that all the changes they've made amongst that staff and like how they're dieting and stuff like that, you kind of hope that gives us the nudge to not have to worry about that as much. But at the top of the roster, like, it finally feels good. Like I feel like confident that we can compete. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think that this Titans defensive line is going to be sneaky good in the NFL. Like I think that they are going to be dominant because number one, look at the coaching staff and the direction that they're taking in between Sala and White Cotton, between the rotations, which people are like, hey, it's like watching hockey lines shift in and out, between the ability that they give them and the autonomy to move around the line to make plays. But man, I watched a lot of JFM at Denver last year, right? And I think he's got, I can't remember the DT that was beside him, but you looked at those dudes and he wasn't Jeffrey Simmons. He was a really good player. That's going to be unreal to watch. Defensive line. They're going to make some absolute noise. And it brings me back to the days of being a Titans fan when we had a crazy line with Curse and all these guys where when you can make noise up front, everything behind it works better, you know? Every level.
Funny story about JFM. when they first showed his picture when we got him, I thought it was a picture of Jeff Simmons, and we traded him. I thought it was a jersey swap picture. They look the same, man. There's a picture floating around out there. I'm like, son of a gun. We got rid of Jeff Simmons. And I was like, oh no, we got back. Okay, we got the guy. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, wait.
Yeah,
that's your PTSD showing.
Yeah, I was like, no, we're the same Titans. No. All right, so on to the next tier, which is contenders. So I think things are going to speed up a little bit here. I think we're starting to get into more teams that are kind of like perennially pretty good, kind of like swap places in that top 15 or whatever. We're going to go ahead and start with the Cowboys. And I think we said this about some other teams, but Cowboys are going to Cowboy. I think a lot of times they kind of get in their own way in roster building. I think they get in their own way on the field sometimes even. They kind of overthink things a little bit too much. And then I think they will be good. Don't get me wrong. I think they will be contenders. I think they'll be there like they are pretty much every year. I think Schottenheimer is going to improve. He seems to be kind of like out of nowhere, but seems to have that team fired up.
Yeah.
But I said if they don't beat themselves, I think they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
all the way. I don't know about that.
Well, probably not. It is the Cowboys, but the one thing I would say about Dallas is their defense was atrocious last year, and that's what cost them so many games because the offense is explosive with Dez and Pickens and Schottenheimer coming from his dad. Marty was a great coach back in the day. So if they can fix their defense, which they tried to do, and by picking up 2 defensive guys, I think it was in the first round, right? Neil Downs and Malachi Lawrence, I believe.
Yeah.
So if they can fix their
that's
defense,
solid too. By the way, if you're going to get a 1-2 punch in the first round, I'm sure they're very happy about that. They might be kicking themselves a little bit about Micah Parsons, but he ended up getting injured anyway. So maybe it would have been all for naught. So that they could use those extra picks to build. So good for them. On to the Bucks. They seem to be mostly running it back, man. Minus Mike Evans. Does that hurt? Oh my God! What the heck? I can't think of his name. What's their quarterback's name?
Baker
Mayfield. God bless America. I was like, did they get rid of him? No. So Baker Mayfield. I don't know that helps him any. And I think their defense got a little better, but they're relatively just kind of moving forward, staying the same. I don't think we really need to touch on them much.
No.
Eagles, however. Usually perennially pretty good. Offensively struggled last year. Didn't make a lot of sense. They weren't using AJ. Well, guess what? AJ's gone. So that's my first thing. He is with the Pats. Replaced with slithery snake Mekhi Lemon. Guy's not even practicing right now. So what does that mean in the big picture? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm a snake.
I couldn't understand what he was doing, but hey, maybe he just needs some media training.
Media training.
He was literally like
media
going like
training,
right?
I should do a pod like that. That's what I should do.
But I think one thing that you're always going to get with the Eagles, though, is solid coaching. I mean, I can't stand that guy, though, by the way. But I think
me neither.
He seems to be a good coach, and they're like really good on the fundamentals. So,
yeah, if they took away the tush push, they might have a lot of trouble in Philadelphia, to be honest with you. But Philly is one that I could honestly see going the other way this year in that division, dependent upon if the Giants do a little bit more than still load, and obviously the Commanders as well, right? Because if those two teams improve, you're coming for the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
So the Eagles are an interesting team to me because they were so bad on offense. And, as an Alabama fan, I liked Jalen Hurts when he was there, but I don't really believe in Jalen in regards, and he's won a Super Bowl. And so that says a lot, but a lot of teams win Super Bowls without elite quarterback play, I would say, especially in the bigger games. He had a down year. So, I'm interested to see what they do this year.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and move on to the Chiefs. I think you got to start with Pat Mahomes. I think it all starts with Pat Mahomes. I think he's going to do Pat Mahomes things. The question is, does he have enough around him to be the Pat Mahomes that we know, who's out there getting MVPs and Super Bowls? Like it was his. Well, it is literally his job, but like actually doing it, you know what I mean? It's all jobs, but they always do it. So, you think Pat Mahomes struggles this year, or do you think he's going to rise to the occasion?
You know, I'm not sure, man. They had such a tough year in Kansas City. I mean, it was so odd to see such a bad year, and they brought in Eric Bieniemy after Matt Nagy left town and went to New York. And Eric Bieniemy is an old, familiar friend. You know, he's been there through the whole run. I think Kenneth Walker addition is massive for that team, and it depends on how they utilize him in that offensive scheme, right? In my opinion, Pacheco's gone, no longer there. There's a lot of moving parts. Clearly, they were unhappy, and so they made some moves, including Mansour Delane. So I think they go back, and I think Mahomes, once healthy, I think he has another Mahomes-ish year.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Kenneth Walker I think that's the best running back they've had in a while. Super Bowl MVP kind of deal there. I'm really proud of this third one, by the way. Do we get the old Travis Kelce, or do we get the old Travis Kelce?
I think we get the old Travis Kelce.
I think it's going to be more of the same. I think he's struggling, man.
Yeah, I was surprised he came back, but I think he doesn't. I think it hurt his pride to go out like that last year, and I think he wants to go out on a better note.
Yeah, and I think it's more a case of he's hoping the pieces are around him for the team to do better, and it's not going to be much of him making the team better anymore. I don't think he's going to be. I think he'll be dependable on the short to intermediate, that kind of thing. I just don't think he's going to be blowing people's doors off because he hasn't been for the past few years. You know what I mean? So
no, totally agree.
All right, on to the Steelers. This is feeling like a farewell tour for Aaron Rodgers. He's got his old coach. I think Mike McCarthy knows how to win. I think Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. I think the Steelers are a really good team. I think they're a good franchise. I think they're going to kind of keep clicking behind the scenes, and they're not going to have to worry about much of that. And I think once you inject Mike McCarthy, I think that's going to make them significantly better than they were. Yeah. I think the question is, although they know how to win, like the past, a lot of times they struggle in the big moments. You know 100%. What I mean? So is that a factor for the Steelers team?
I mean, the Steelers got better in the offseason, not only with the stuff you mentioned, but adding Michael Pittman, I think, is a huge deal because you have DK Metcalf on the other side. Yep. And they needed something to take that attention away from DK that they didn't have last year, and a different weapon. And Pittman's good. If Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, that's a big deal for me. And I think the relationship between him and Mike McCarthy produces an immediate punch for that team going into his farewell season.
Yeah.
That says, hey, we can go ahead and start this thing early and start winning. And I agree. McCarthy, if he's done anything, he's won. Maybe not as much as some of the fan bases that he coached thinks he should have, but he's won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think they're going to be contending this season.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. So we will go ahead and move on to dangerously close. And I think you kind of know what this one means. I think they're going to be there. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. I think they've all made really good improvements on teams that were already pretty solid.
Agreed.
So we'll go ahead and start with the Lions here. Overhauled the offensive line, which is going to be really good for them, which kind of like ties to my number 2. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a featured back now.
Yeah.
And he is a dangerous weapon under the Lions. And then lastly, they have quarterback, like a steady quarterback in Jared Goff. So I think Jared Goff's always going to give you playoff caliber play, but I think they corrected the things with those other two. That's going to kind of like elevate them from what they were in the past years, because they definitely struggled with sacks and things like that.
Yeah, I think getting a new offensive coordinator is a big thing in Detroit. And then, like you said, man, that offense is kind of crazy. They're loaded between Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra. They added Isaiah Pacheco, which is, I think, a sneaky good ad, really.
Yeah.
Even with Gibbs being more of a workhorse, like Coach has come out and said he's going to be. You know, they were real solid, and then last year was a bit of a dip, but I think they're coming back this year with a bit of a vengeance. I think we're going to see that real aggressive Lions culture that he's building out there. Yeah, I think they're poised for a good year.
Absolutely. And we will move on to the Packers. My first thing I got with him was, can Matt LaFleur snap out of it? He's a good coach, man. But like, what's been going on? It's just like from week to week, you just don't know what you're getting with him.
No.
He's really struggled with consistency the past 2 years. So I don't know what Matt LaFleur you're getting. If you get the good Matt LaFleur, I think you're up there and you're talking about Super Bowls or championships and those kinds of things, or conference championships.
Yep.
But it could just as well end in the divisional round or wild card for them, depending on where he's at.
Well, they have a great system in Green Bay. You know, they have a coach that's been there, right? So you're not changing a lot. I think for me, this year goes and rides on Jordan Love. You know, he's another one that he hasn't quite gotten over that mountaintop. And I'm not talking about the Super Bowl mountaintop, but what comes far before that on big game stages.
Yeah.
And he's had some good moments. I mean, he's had some good moments. Obviously, it's a good system for him. But, you know, I think this is firmly where they're at. I feel good about them being here, but can they take the next step? I don't know, because it might be too late. Some of these guys that are behind them in the graphic and even in this same column, they might be moving faster than the Packers.
Oh, no, I agree with that completely. And like you said, that was my second one, Jordan Love. Is he legit? I don't think he's proved that yet. I think he's had flashes, but I don't think that's been proven. I do think it helps that they signed Christian Watson. I think that having that continuity there is going to be really helpful for him. But they just got to string it together for 17 games, I think. You know what I mean? Right now, they have not been able to do that. And when you think of the Packers, you just think of inconsistency, like missed opportunities, those kinds of things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they're in a killer division, man. They're in a killer division. So they got a lot of tough battles there. We're going to talk about one of those guys coming up.
Yes, Chargers are next. So we got kooky Jim Harbaugh, and then offensive mastermind Mike McDaniel. I don't know if that's going to be like just a big pot of genius or a big pot of like what's going on over there.
That's crazy. Yeah, that is a crazy pairing, to be honest with you. But I can see why McDaniel wanted to go there.
Yeah, he's one of the ones that said no Browns.
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of the ones like I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Mike Daniel, so I do think Njoku was a nice piece for Justin Herbert in the nice little end zone threat there. And then their pass rush has improved this offseason too. They didn't need much. They're another team that beats themselves a lot of times. You know what I mean? I feel like they're really good. Good offensive line, Justin Herbert. They got some receiver options there. Like I said, pass rush has improved. They got Njoku there to help boost those touchdowns and stuff. But a lot of times it's just dumb mistakes with them.
It is. And, you know, last season they had a lot of health issues on that offensive line. I mean, Joe Alt struggling, you know, getting injured, missing a lot of time. I don't know the other tackle's name, I believe it was, but I also got injured. They had a lot of rotating pieces in there, which doesn't help the cause when you have a pocket passer that's back there. I mean, Herbert has plenty of ability on the run game when things break down. But, man, I think this is a good thing for Justin Herbert. You know, here's the deal. If you get somebody like Mike McDaniel to step away from a head coaching role and focus solely on your offensive game, when so many people in the league think of this guy as an offensive genius and a great mind, and you fail at that, that's going to be a real telltale. So they have an awesome opportunity in front of them this year in another killer division, you know, to really try to make some noise. And I think it hinges on Herbert's ability to make the big plays in the big games.
And let's be honest, Herbert's way better than Tua, and McDaniel worked wonders with Tua there for at least 2 years until Tua beat himself into oblivion.
Yeah, literally.
And so that's going to go ahead and take us to the Bills. So I think they're always going to be up there because Josh Allen. I mean, he's always had pretty limited tools and kind of elevated that team for a long, long time. Yeah. Which takes me to number two, which is Josh Allen has a weapon now, like a legitimate weapon in DJ Moore. I think that is exciting for him. And then I think the only thing that might hold them back is, will we get the old Joe Brady, or will be more of the same? You know what I mean? We don't know what we're getting with him. He really kind of fell off there in the back half of the season. Cannot believe they let McDermott go. Like, I was one that I was like, if he comes out into this coaching cycle, he's one that I would not have minded having for.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, that was a huge move for the organization. So this season is a pivotal point, not only in the fact of Josh Allen's career, how many years he's been in the league, but the fact that you let go of a proven head coach, a successful head coach in your organization, to then just replace him with the offensive coordinator that was upstairs calling plays. That's a pretty big move, in my opinion. And Absolutely. I agree, DJ Moore is a great addition, but there's so much question mark with Keon Coleman with that franchise. Is he going to actually do anything? Brother. Yeah, he is. But is he going to do anything more than show up in fancy clothes, and do some dances pregame? Like, that guy has to do something. And they have some good. James Cook is a baller. I mean, that guy is a great running back and a fantastic weapon. So, it's interesting. If they stay healthy, they should stay where they're at. But also, hey, what's the worst for Buffalo? I think the worst for them is regression. Yep. And I think that regression is possible with that type of change.
Yeah, and it's really a coin flip type change, because Joe Brady wasn't, so much so that his attractiveness as a head coach kind of dwindled there. Yeah. He wasn't really being talked about much because of how the offense was performing there in the back half. I mean, like I said, Josh Allen, I think he kind of keeps them up there. Josh Allen with DJ Moore is probably one of the best receivers he's had, maybe since being there, possibly. Yeah. And then I think Joe Brady is the coin flip there. So let's go ahead and we'll move on to the Bears, our final team in Dangerously Close. I think these guys are legitimately dangerously close. However, my three for the Bears is obviously Ben Johnson's really good. I don't think there's any fear there.
Yeah.
I also think Caleb Williams is good, but very volatile. I don't think he makes some crazy throws.
Oh yeah. Insane.
Yeah. And it's just but they're so crazy. Sometimes you wonder if it's an accident. You know what I mean? It's wait a minute. He chucked one in practice or OTAs here recently. I was like,
yeah.
Was that for real? Did he plan that, or was he just a hope and a prayer?
Well, I mean, it's just like watching their late season run at the end of the year. I mean, he made a couple of insane throws, including one to DJ Moore, one to one of their tight ends in the back of the end zone on fourth down in 20 or 30, Caleb is extremely talented, but man, Caleb has got to be more consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, his completion percentage, I think, hovers around 50 to 55%. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was somewhere in that. And in Ben Johnson's system, to me, that's shocking, because you saw what Jared Goff did with Ben Johnson. And now you go to, a more athletic quarterback in Caleb Williams in that system. Absolutely. So if he improves, that will be huge for Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think losing DJ Moore hurts. Can Rome Odunze rise to the occasion? Don't know. I actually kind of wanted Rome Odunze when he came out.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, he was kind of the guy I was shooting for. Very happy we got Carnell Tate, because I don't know if you've heard, he's a Buckeye wide receiver. But so we'll go ahead and move on to the 49ers. So this is our champion caliber column. I don't think there's any kind of explanation that needs to be done there. I think these guys are going to be in the thick of it at the end for the most part. The 49ers, I think the huge thing that keeps them going, because they don't have any crazy shiny pieces other than McCaffrey, maybe. You know what I mean? Bosa when he's healthy.
Yeah.
But Kyle Shanahan, you know what I mean? Kyle Shanahan is going to Kyle Shanahan. That guy can coach his freaking ears off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think with San Francisco, their biggest pickup was Mike Evans, in my opinion. Even though Mike's on the tail end of his career, the guy is clearly a Hall of Fame caliber wide receiver. And I think in that offense where you don't have to be the focal wide receiver, He's going to be able to do some good stuff. Brock Purdy staying healthy is a big question for them. They had Mac Jones fill in nicely in some spots and did a good job. But yeah, that team just always cooks, man. Like you said, they're extremely well coached. They're extremely well coached, and their defense under Saleh, was really good last year, and their guys were injured. So if the Niners can stay healthy, they should actually compete at a championship level at the end of the season.
Absolutely. So we'll go on to the next team, which is the Broncos. I think the big thing for the Broncos here, my number one, is just get healthy. Man, what a bummer that they made it to the divisional round, but just lost their quarterback. Like, it was almost like a given. It was like, oh my God.
It was.
They got to move on, and then they don't have their starting quarterback. So that sucks for them. I think it's huge that their DC returns, and Sean Payton is just a really good coach. I don't think you can argue with that. So I think he's just going to keep doing what he does. I think those three things, I think getting healthy, getting their quarterback back, I think they'll be right back in the thick of things.
I think they will too. And, the addition of Jalen Waddle to that team is a really good addition, in my opinion, especially under that offensive scheme, and for Bo Nix. Because they got some other nice pieces, and we don't got to go deep in it, but they got some other nice pieces at the wide receiver room out there. And clearly they formed some good chemistry last year. And the defense, my God, the defense was insane. They lost JFM, so we'll see how the defensive line recovers from that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to be able to see a lot about that AFC West, and how those first initial division battles go, like with Broncos and Chiefs. And Chargers, and really see who's gonna rise to that championship caliber. Although right now I think that's where the Broncos should be.
Absolutely. No, I don't. Yeah, I can't argue with that. So on to the Rams. So I got a little more detail on this one, because they just made an interesting move with Myles Garrett. We mentioned him earlier when we talked about the Browns. I think he helps. Don't get me wrong. I do think it's a little strange that they gave up so much for an older defensive end when they were already 7th in sacks last year. That is kind of odd to me. However, that brings me to number 2, and this changes things. If this lures Aaron Donald out of retirement, if that is like a real thing, and the murmurings of that, I think they immediately jump to the top of the power rankings.
If it is a real thing, and I know I've seen that stuff too, and I'm like, man. Because here's the deal, right? Aaron retired early, everyone would say. And then also, if you see the dude right now, he's like, put him on the line and he's wreaking havoc. The guy stayed in shape. He looks like he never stopped playing NFL level football. So, yeah, I agree. The Rams are an excellent team. Matt Stafford is a fantastic quarterback. He's crazy. They got Puka. They got Adams. And, man, watching them last year, they were dangerous. That team. Really well coached. Really good defensively. I was also shocked by the Garrett thing, but that seems like an LA move. Let's just bring all these stars out to LA.
Right.
But yeah, they're gonna be really dangerous this year.
Absolutely. So we'll move on to the Pats. Like, no surprises here. They made it to the Super Bowl last year. Have a solid coach in Mike Vrabel. They just picked up AJ Brown. I think that is going to put them that's going to be net positive for them. I think AJ Brown, as whiny and stuff as he can be, and he drives me crazy, he's a really good wide receiver. I think they're going to utilize him better than the Eagles did.
Oh, absolutely.
Beyond that first year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Mike Vrabel, man, what a dirty SOB that guy is. Is that going to be a distraction? You know what I mean? I don't think that's going away. It's definitely quieted down. Do the players respect him? All those kinds of things. So we'll see about that.
Yeah, I don't, man. I honestly don't think the Vrabel thing is going to matter to that team. And I won't really go too deep in it. I just don't see it really affecting it. And in regards to the Patriots, look what they did with Stephon Diggs last year. And you think about A.J. Brown in that wide receiver room and in that offensive system under Josh McDaniels, right? And it's still Josh. So, Drake May, he's proven it. He's been consistent. As much as it pains me to put him in this caliber, because I can't stand them. I think
AJ hasn't had that kind of quarterback, by the way.
No, not at all.
I mean, he's had some good ones, but I don't think he's had that. You know what I mean? That kind of like arm talent and everything. So.
Oh, absolutely. He hasn't. I don't think so either. So I think they they're especially, and man, they play in that division. That's like a gift, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, the only team they got to worry about is Buffalo. Really, personally, I don't think they got to worry about the other two.
Yeah. All right, man. To our number one, the defending Super Bowl champs. I'm a firm believer that to be the champ, you have to beat the champ. So I think it's easy to put them there. I think my only concern with the Seahawks is losing Clint Kubiak. I think other than that, I think McDonald. Yeah, McDonald. I think he's a fantastic coach. It stinks that he was in our building and then not in our building, and we didn't sign that guy. We got Callahan or whatever.
Yeah.
But so
whatever that guy's name was.
Yeah, that guy. But I think that's the only thing that might possibly hold this team back. I think they're going to be right back up there and in the thick of it, maybe even in the Super.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they respond to losing Kubiak and losing Kenneth Walker. But I mean, God bless you. Sam Darnold, I think, has proven, that at this point in his career, at this age, he's shaking those ghosts off. He's won a Super Bowl. You don't have any weight on your shoulders in regards to that, and you got an insane amount of talent around you. That defense, the young guys on defense that proved it in the Super Bowl, proved it in the playoff run, and your Ohio State Jackson. I mean, that guy is top 2 receiver in the entire league, arguably the top. So, man, Seahawks are absolutely returning champs, and they're going to have to, like you said, somebody's going to have to knock them off. Can it be done? I don't know. Repeating is very difficult. It's very difficult.
Absolutely. All right, man. That's it. That's our power rankings.
That's it. That's the first Titan sector power rankings, the early rankings. So we'll see how it shakes out. That's the fun part, right? It's trying to prognosticate this stuff and predict it. And man, we appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. This was one of our longest pod so far, our longest episode. And we tried to keep it impactful to the things that we thought for each team. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. One thing I'd love to hear from you, and I know Ghost would too, is what's your opinion on all of our rankings? Do you guys think we just completely blew it and we're so wrong? Or where would you change things, right? Which column would you put a different team in? I would love to hear that feedback from you guys, and let us know what you think. So we appreciate you guys tuning in to our Power Rankings episode. As you know, you can follow us over on X at The Titan Sector. Make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button because it helps us out, and we certainly appreciate all that help. Tune in to our episodes every Monday and Thursday. We drop them on X and we drop them on YouTube so you guys can see us then. And until next time, we'll catch you guys later.